Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the journey of understanding human life, creating a fulfilling life. And today is day 13 in 100 days. This is 100-day journey to elevate our inner awareness about human life. And thank you very much for your presence. And yesterday we have explored about the operating principle of consciousness. And so we will review a little bit before we get into the new lesson today. And if and in our life, we experience human life, we experience physical world and cosmology. There are three areas in life that we experience. And if you want to have a good experience in material life and spiritual life, so you need to know what help us experience a good material and spiritual life. And our experience comes from the vibrational frequency that we have. So it decides our vibrational frequency decides if we have a good or bad experience in life. And with the low vibrational frequency, and we know that it will make us suffer um, experience very bad. We have very bad experience in life. But if we have the high vibrational frequency, we have good experience in material life. And with the ultra high vibrational frequency, we have good spiritual experience. And so the question is, how can we have the high or ultra high vibrational frequency to have the good experience in life, in material life, in spiritual life? And we know that there are some bodies use some items, and they call that feng shui item to make them have a better vibrational frequency, a higher vibrational frequency. But it can support for those who have low vibrational frequency. And if we too depend on those items, what if we have nothing with us? What if we have nothing with us? And there is one more thing that which can give us the endless source. It's the source which have endless high frequency, which comes from within, which comes from within. And we know that if we realize the truth from within, we have the balanced state, which release the ultra high vibrational frequency. And if we have the positive inner state, which release the high vibrational frequency, so that we can have the good material life, good experience in material life. And our bodies also support for the vibrational frequency. If we have the healthy body, it can also help us to experience, to support the our vibrational frequency. And the question is, how can we have where or which one creates our vibrational frequency, or release from which ones our vibrational frequencies release? It comes from our inner state. It comes from our inner states. So our inner state decides our vibrational frequency. And if we have the the negative inner state corresponds to the low vibrational frequency. If you pay attention to someone, or you think of someone or something, and you have a bad idea, or you have the bad image about them, or negative emotions about that thing, that person, it means that it indicates that you have the negative inner state towards that things or that person. And if you think about something or someone, and you have good experience, you have good images about them, it means that you feel good, or you have positive emotions when you think of someone or something. It means that you have the positive inner states. You have the positive inner state, which release the high vibrational frequency, which release the high vibrational frequency. And if you are at the balance state, and we know that balance state we can have when we realize the truth from within. So if we are at the balance state, which can help us release the ultra high vibrational frequency. So if you want to have the good experience in material life and spiritual life, you need to switch between balanced state and positive state. You need to have the balanced state towards positivity. And our inner state comes from the inner awareness. Comes from the inner awareness. Our inner states comes from our inner awareness. Our inner awareness decides if we have the positive or negative or balanced states. And if you have the and if you have the blessings is the positive particles in us. Merit is the collection, the units of balanced particles within us. So if you want to have the balance towards positive inner state, you need to accumulate blessing and merit. You need to have blessing and merit. And we have discussed about blessing and merit in the previous session. And we also have a series of sessions that we will discuss about the giving, about 7 types of givings. So you have the idea of on how do we accumulate blessings and merit through giving. So by givings, we accumulate blessing and merit. And that is for the yesterday section. So if you want to have a good experience in life, in spiritual life, in material life, you need to, at the end, to have blessing and merit. Blessing have their good experience in material life, and merit helped you have their good experience in spiritual life. Okay, and our inner awareness. Elevate our inner awareness. So it depends on our inner awareness. Decides if we have positive or negative or balanced state. And the full inner awareness creates a lasting reality. Create a lasting reality. So that's why this journey is the journey to elevate our inner awareness. All right, and let's get into the new lesson today. Today we will explore about one more principle, the operating principle of subconscious mind. And there is one concept that we need to discuss before we get to understand, get to know the operating principle of our subconscious mind, which is accumulate. Accumulating. Okay, accumulating. So why is we mention about this concept in this right before uh, this principle? If you remember about the root cause formula of life in the very beginning section, and we know that that is the knowledge that can help us to understand the root cause of human life from scientific perspective. From scientific perspective, and we know that the reality, the result that we get today from our mental images, from our mental images. And our mental images comes from what we hear, what we say, what we know, what we see. From what we hear, what we see, what we say, and what we know every single day. Every single day of in the past, and all of this generate the mental images. And our mental images are the root causes of our realities or our result, the result that we get. And what we hear something, we say something, we know something, and we see something. That process, we call it accumulating. Accumulating. Thank you, Hong Fong. Thank you very much, everyone, for your presence. And because the our reality, our results comes from the mental images which we have, which created by the process of our accumulation from what we hear, what we see, what we say, and what we know. But from scientific perspectives, it can only explain for what have happened in the past since we were born until now. But there are something that science cannot explain. So that's why we need another perspectives, another view to explain about our realities, which science cannot explain. I study a mentor too. Thank you, Hong Feng. All right, so now let's get into understand the root cause of human life from religious perspectives. Okay, you definitely can do that, Hong Feng. Right, so we start with the accumulation, accumulate. So we accumulate, and before there are three more concepts that we need to know before we get to know this principle. Have you ever heard about karma? Have you ever heard about karma? So this, I think, this concept comes from Buddhism, but I guess many people, at least once, have heard about this concept, and many people have looked for this concept in many resources. And here we have the concept of total karma. Uh, that is we have the increments in those teachers who are sharing this knowledge in English, Hong Feng, and we come to an agreement that will keep the original version. Yeah, we keep the original version of this knowledge, these are human structures, and so I before I share this knowledge human this diagram by English version, but now because we have the that agreements, so there's a team who develop the source concept about this knowledge, and they come to the conclusion that we'll share that we'll just we keep the Vietnamese version and then we explain it in English. So if they any change in the future, so I will just follow it. Thank you for your suggestion. So for there are three more concepts that we need to know before we understand the operating principle of subconscious mind. Total karma, and there are three types of karma. We have knowledge. First one, knowledge. Second one, which is relationship or affinity. And the third one is outcome. Uh, And we have a definition of this karma, so please allow me to read the definition of it before I explain what they are. Okay. The first one, knowledge. Karma, or somebody called consciousness karma, is the sum of all knowledge and understanding accumulated over countless lifetimes through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing, processed through the layers of human nature. So we know that there's human natures in us and the emotion layers, and stored in the subconscious. Again, knowledge karma. The sum of all knowledge is the sum of all knowledge and understanding accumulated over countless lifetimes through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing, processed through the layers of human nature, emotion layer, and stored in the subconscious. And similarly, the relationship karmas, or somebody call it conditioned karmas, is the sum of all karmic connections with others accumulated over countless lifetimes through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing, processed through the layers of human nature and emotion, and stored in the subconscious. Again, the relationship karma, in order in other words, conditioned karma, is the sum of all karmic connections with others accumulated over countless lifetimes through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing, processed through the layers of human nature and emotion, and stored in the subconscious. The third karma, the outcome karma, or in other words, consequence karma is the sum of all life outcomes accumulated over countless lifetimes through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing, processed through the layers of human nature and emotion layers, and stored in the subconscious. Or in Buddhism, they call it storehouse consciousness. Again, the outcome karma, or in other words, we have consequences karma, is the sum of all life outcomes accumulated over countless lifetimes through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing, processed through the layers of human nature and emotion, and stored in the subconscious or storehouse consciousness. In Buddhism, they call it subconscious is the storehouse consciousness. Hello, everyone. Welcome, newcomers. Thank you very much for all of your kind words. All right, so I just have read the definition of the total karma. So we have three types of karma: knowledge karma, relationship karma, and outcome karma. And these karmas, anyone has these karmas, and it depends of in our karmas that we have, and it decides the life that we have and the life that we experience. So just now let's explore the operating principle of subconscious minds. Okay, so we have heard that our karma comes from the process of accumulating a process that we accumulate our knowledge, our understandings, our connections, relationship, or outcomes over countless lifetimes, right? Through what we hear, through our hearing, seeing, saying, knowing. What we hear, what we see, what we say, what we know. And through the layers, that process through the layers of human nature and emotion. And from the human structure in the previous sections, we already know that in our inner beings is formed by three layers: the truth, the innermost layer, which is the truth. The second layer is the human nature, and the third layer is emotion. And outside, the outer shelf is our body, right? So we have the accumulation through hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing. Oh, knowing. And this is processed through human nature, layers, and emotion layer. emotion layer. And our subconscious mind, or in Buddhism they call it storehouse consciousness, is compared as a garden, as a garden. So everybody, if you have the paper with you, you can draw this garden with me. And inside this garden, there are three types of trees and three types of seed. And so we have the seeds. We have the seed of knowledge, of our understanding. We can use different colors to represent for a different karma. And we have earlier, we know that we have the knowledge karma. So just let these in these gardens, there are seeds, there are the trees grows from the seeds, and there are the trees that produce the fruits. And here we have, call this is knowledge. We have knowledge, karmas. We have seeds of knowledge. We have the tree of knowledge, and we have the fruits of our knowledge. And our knowledge has the like the cars, and has the condition, and it also have the results. Okay, and we also have another karma, not a seeds. We have the seed of our relationship. We have the tree of our relationships, and we have the fruits, we have the results of our relationships. So let's say these ones represents for this blue colors represents for our relationship, karma, and we have also have the outcome, karma. So there is the seed of the outcome of our outcome. There's the tree of our outcome, and there's results, the fruits of our outcome. Okay, this is the outcome. Outcome. There. And this garden has a being. is guarded by a being. We call him is a being. Being. We call him a being. And the karma is planned our life. So let's say our knowledge. There are somebody. Have seen a case that a baby knows something before before he or she was touched by someone. So has they have no teacher. They have no teacher, but they know something. And in religion, they explain that because we they say that there are countless lifetimes and people experience countless lifetimes, and so that's why we have experienced many lives, and during those lives we have accumulated knowledge, understandings, and we didn't know what we have accumulated in the past lives. We didn't know that. We might be a doctor, we might be a teacher, we might be somebody in the previous lives. So that's why we there are the seeds, there are tree, there are the fruits of the karmas, knowledge karmas in these gardens, the subconscious mind garden. And so that's why there are kids who good at some skills or good at some subjects than others because they have accumulated in the past. And if you have you have the tendency to like something, you prefer something, then the others you're good at maths, for example, than physics or than literature. So it also comes from your knowledge karmas which you have accumulated in the past. What when I say in the past, it can comes from this life and it can also comes from the previous lives. And it can also explain for our relationship. So have you ever encountered persons, a very new person that was the first time in your life that you met that person, but you have good feeling about that person. You feel like you are soulmates with that person, and or you feel very close to that person, feel good about that person, even just it's just your first meet because you have accumulated that relationship in the past. What I mean in the past, it means the previous lives, in the previous lives. So when you accumulated that, you accumulated with the positive inner state. So that's why when you encounter that person, it gives you the desire, desired or desirable results. It gives you the desired or desirable results. But there are some ones it also your first met, but you dislike you dislike that person and you don't know why. It's just your first mates, but you didn't like them because in the past you have accumulated that connections, that relationship with the negative in the states, and which gives you the undesired results. Undesired results. And there are someone when you meet them, you feel balanced, don't like, and of course no dislike. So because in the past you have accumulated a relationship, that relationship with their balance states, balance, not desire and not undesired. So it, for each tree here in this garden, in the subconscious mind garden, we have the fruit, right? And each fruit in this garden has three scenarios. The first one, it can give us the undesired results, or it can give us the desired results, the desired reality, or it can give us the not desired, not undesired results, fruits, or reality. So it depends on the inner state of which of the inner state when we have when we accumulated that knowledge, that relationship, or that outcome in the past. In the past. So that's why now you can explain your reality. If think about one reality that you want to analyze here. For example, once you had, I think relationship is something quite close to us. For example, parents, your parents, and do you know that, or do you believe that you are the one who decides where you was born, which family you was born in? You choose your father, your mother, your family, your hometown. What do you think when I say that? What do you think when I say that you are the one who choose your hometown, your family, your parents, because it corresponds to your karma. I was born in Vietnam, in province which is in the middle of Vietnam. And when I grow up, I stay far from my family. I studied in Ho Chi Minh City, and after graduated from the university, I worked in some places, and then I decided to move to the Philippines, and it's on indicated dictated in my karma. And I never know that I would be in these countries such a quite period of time, more than 6 years. In the beginning, I thought I could stay here for 1 to 2 years. But now is 6 years already. So it's aren't in our karma, in our karma. And why I said that you are the ones who choose your hometown, your parents, your family, because with your karma, with your karma, which you have accumulated through countless lifetimes, and you need to so there is the resonate, there is the similars in the karma. So that's why you was born in that family, because you resonate with that family's karma and with that country's karma. So we also have another karma which we call collective karma. It means that in the group of that people experience the same, they have the same experience because of the collective karma. So those people who were born in Vietnam, live in Vietnam, they have a collective karma to have the same experience on something in Vietnam. And we also have the another type of karma which we call individual karma. Individual karma, which states, which means that each individual has their own karma. They have different karmas compared to others. So that's we call individual karma. And when we talk about relationship, like our, for example, a father. When I mentioned about father, so what's your idea, or do you have any feeling, or what do you think about your father, for example? Do you have a good feeling about him? Or you have a bad feeling about him? Or any positive or negative emotion about him? And if you have the negative emotion about him, it means that you have the undesired reality in the relationship with your father. And it means that in the past, when you have accumulated that relationship, that connections you accumulated with with a negative inner state, with a negative inner state. And if you have, when you think about him, you have the positive feelings, positive emotion, or good image about your father. So it means that you have the desired reality in the relationship with your father. And it means that you have accumulated that relationship, that connection with the positive in the past, in the past. So the past could be in this life or in the previous lives. And or when you mention about somebody, but you don't feel like you like him or her, or you don't like him or don't like her. So it means that you have the balance state when you mention someone, mention about that person. So we call that not desire and not undesired desire results or reality or fruits. And so now we can understand our reality, why we experience something, why we experience some Like we have some experience. It can be good, it can be bad, and we know why it happens, right? It depends on our inner state when we accumulate those knowledge, those relationship, or those outcome. So with the knowledge, if you when you um for example, like me, in the past when I was in school, I was good at math, dance, literature, and I have good feeling about maths or physics compared to other subjects like literatures. And so it means that when I mention about the math or physics knowledge, for example, I have accumulated those knowledge in the past with the positive inner states. But for literature, I have accumulated that subject, that knowledge with the negative inner states. That's it. Even in English, with our languages, in English, when I was in school, I have bad feeling about languages, including English, because I have accumulated those subjects with the negative inner state, with the negative states. So that's why I have undesired results or undesired reality regarding this knowledge, regarding literatures, regarding English or languages. But you can see that now I share this I'm sharing this knowledge in English, which I have learned from a Vietnamese education organization. So I have changed my inner states, my states about English subjects. So before I have negative inner states about English, but now I have the positive states about English and languages in general. So how can I do that? And I have the good experience in English or languages. So do you want to turn any undesired reality into the desired reality? Into a desired reality. You can do that with trees, with three states. At first, you need the inner peace. Second, tolerance. Third, uh, appreciation, gratitude. Appreciation, gratitude. We know that in the states, in states which is created by the inner emptiness, and our inner emptiness is initiated by the initiated when we realize the truth from within, right? When we have the when we realize the truth from within, we hear and we know that we are hearing, we see and we know that we are seeing. And it means that we are realizing the truth from within. And in that state, we have the balanced state. And at that balanced state, it's initiated, it initiates the inner emptiness state, and the inner peace follows. The inner peace follows. So when you place your attention in a trait, for example, the traits of the relationship with your partner or your loved ones, one person, and that at that reality, you have the undesired result reality in that relationship. And now you want to turn it into the desired reality, right? So at first you need to, so it was from the negative. If you have the undesired realities when you mention about that relationship, so it means that you have the negative in the state at that relationship, at that relationship. So from the negative in the states, how can you turn it into the positive in the state so that you can have the desired reality? So you need to shift it to the balanced state first. You need to shift it into the balanced state first. And then from the balanced states, you can turn it into the positive state. It will be simpler. How can we shift from the negative state into the balanced states? By realizing the truth from within, and it initiates the inner emptiness state of our inner being, and the inner peace state follows. Inner peace first. Inner peace first. And from that inner peace state, you understand one more thing, that the that reality is the thing that you need to receive, because it's in your karma, it's in your subconscious mind. That's your karma. If it's not that person who brings that incident to your life, the other will do. The other will do because it's your karma. So we need to understand that first. The root cause of our lives comes from us. Anything that happens in our life, our realities comes from us, from our karma. So by understanding that, we have the tolerance to the person who brings that incident, that bad experience to you. And the third step, invert the lessons from that experience, from that incident, from that event, from that situation. And when you have the lessons, when you have the lessons for your growth, you have the appreciation, gratitude for that lesson. So people need lessons to grow, to develop. And those who brings that experience would have you have those lessons becomes your teachers. They taught you the life lessons, and you become stronger, you grow, You develop yourself. And by doing that, you have turns because you have the appreciation gratitude. You have shifts from the balanced states to the positive states. And then that relationship turn into a desired reality. So do you get what I mean? Do you get the point here? Let it write down. Oh. So we call this is to the formula to overcome hardship. Hmm. Or life issue. A formula to overcome life issues. At first, step one, life issues. When the life issues come, we faces with the inner states. Sorry, inner peace. Inner peace. Step two, for the people, those people who brings that incidents, that bad experience to you, you have the tolerance. You have a tolerance to them. And you understand that it comes from your karma. If it's not that person, that life issue is one of the outcome karma is from your outcome karma. So if it's not you, that person, the other will do. And by understanding that, you have a tolerance to that person. Step three, we have lesson. infer the lessons from that experience. From that experience. And we have appreciation, appreci- appreciation, gratitude. Lessons, appreciation, gratitude for the lesson that you have learned from that incident, from that experience, and that person becomes your teachers. And when you have the appreciation, gratitude, you have the positive inner state. And if you remember about the blessings and merits that we have mentioned in the previous sections, when you have the appreciation, gratitude for the lesson you have learned from that incident, from that experience, and a person who brings that incident to your life, that issue to your life, turn into your teacher, right? Indirectly, indirectly they turn into your teachers. So they have they accumulated the blessing indirectly, because our blessings is accumulated by helping others feel good, or uh, like satisfies their desires or perceptions about something. So when we have learned something from a situation, from an issue, so a person who brought that issue to us is our teachers indirectly, and they are accumulated the blessings indirectly as well. And when they accumulate the blessings, so they know what to do, what's good to do. Those who have the inappropriate action or behavior because they lack of blessing, and those who have a good life, they have blessings, and because they have blessing, they know what's right, what's wrong, what's right to do. They will avoid the wrong thing, the thing that make people hate them. They just do the things that make people like them more because they have blessing. So that's the power of blessing. Blessing can help us to have a good material life, good relationship, good knowledge, good at learning, and with a good outcome. So these are three steps which can help us overcome any issues, any problems, any obstacles, any difficulties in our life, just by these three steps. At first, we need to face it with the inner peace. And we know that how we can have the inner peace. We hear it, and we know that we are hear it. We see, and we know that we are see it. And there is no analyzing, there is no interpreting from the human nature layers, and there is no emotions intervene. So just stop by hearing and know that we are hearing, seeing, and know that we are seeing. That's it. So it initiates the inner emptiness, the inner emptiness state, and the inner peace follows to the people, a person who brought that incident to your life. Be tolerant to them, as we know that if it's not them, not him or her, we will receive that result, that reality, have that reality through some other person from through from other people. And the third step, we invert lessons from that incident, from that event, from that experience. And from inner peace, we have the balance states, balance states, tolerance. So nearly balance. And appreciation, gratitude is the positive states. So it can help us to turn from negative state to negative states to positive states. So we can turn from undesired reality into the desired reality. Into the desired reality. Um, just apply it in one reality, and you can see the results. And one more thing, that there is another question, that if we face any problem in our life and we just apply this formula, is good, very good already, because we can turn from undesired reality into the desired reality. But is there any way or any method or any approach that can help us to um, spread the help us to encounter just desire reality, have the desired reality? So it means that it's for whole, like wholesale, not only not retail. This is like we sell like retail, but with that idea, we like have the wholesales. So there is um you can just imagine in this gardens, under this garden there is like in the skies we have helicopters. We have the helicopters, and with carries their balance states, balance particles, and positive states, positive particles with it. And they just fly in the sky and spray those in particles down into the onto this garden, this subconscious mind's garden. So this garden will be full of the balance states and the positive states, balanced particles and positive particles. And when a seed or trees which has produced the results which give us the undesired results or realities, for example. And when we provide the balance particles, the balance state, that trait was cut off from the water, fertilizers, from any good conditions, conducive conditions for it to grow. So it will be stopped right that with the balance state, with the balance states. And when it was at the negative, the positive states, positive particles. So from the same trees, the undesired fruit stopped produce and the desired fruits produce. And how can we have uh, those helicopters which carries the balance states, carries the balance particles, positive states, positive particles. Again, come back to the you shift your inner states. You shift your inner state within among the these three states: inner peace, tolerance, appreciation, gratitude to any incidents you face it with the inner peace. To the people you face them with the tolerance, and to the lessons that you infer from those incidents or from the good things that you have in your life, use the appreciation gratitude. So switch between these three states. That is the first options. And the second, we need just get okay. Let's narrate. Accumulate blessing and merits. Accumulate blessing and merits. Blessings corresponds to the positive particles, positive states. Merits corresponds to the balance state, balance particles. So by accumulate and generate blessing and merits, so we provide or we spread our subconscious mind garden with the positive and balanced states, positive and balanced particles. And there is one more concept. One more concept I want to share with everyone before we end this section. We have cause and effects, cause and effects, one time suffering, one time suffering, cause and effect, one time suffering, one time suffering, one time suffering, one time suffering, which means when something happens, you have that suffering, right? You have that suffering, you have that bad experience, and it was very bad experience. And you just experience that one time only. You just experience that one time only. If you have the resentment, you plant another seed with negative inner states. Of course, in the future, it will grow up to be the undesired reality. So you just experience when a fruit produce, when a reality comes. So it just one time experience that reality. And it depends on how you respond to that incident, how you respond to that reality, and it decides the next seed you plant in your subconscious mind. There are people who experience something very bad in the past and they respond with the resentment, with anger, with hatred, and they continue plant the negative, uh, their undesired seeds with the negative states in their subconscious mind garden. But if they understand that suffering you experience one time only and just faces with the inner peace. So it means that you plant the balance, the not desire, not undesire seeds into your subconscious mind garden. Or in other words, you just cut off the water, fertilizers, all the conducive conditions for that undesired reality grow. So when it stops and you places with the appreciation, gratitude from the lessons you have learned from that reality, so you plant another seed in exact place at that tree. So you have the positive inner states. You have planted a desire seeds in that exact place. So of course it will grow up to be the desired reality. When someone do something bad to you, it means that it's a reality. That's your karma. But you just experience that one time only. Just suffer that one time only. And the way you respond to that decides the next seed that you plant into your subconscious mind. Okay? One time only. Experience that one time only, everybody. And that is hmm, so we have 44. So for any good things that comes to your life, if you want to protect your energy, protect your positive, your balanced state towards positivity, you need to have the inner awareness that your achievements granted by people, by others. So it means that you have appreciation, gratitude to others for your achievements. And you know that this comes from others, not from you. And the second one, whatever happens, especially the undesired realities, is from you. The root cause from you. So by understanding that, you just go back to correct the root cause, correct their undesired seeds to be the desired seeds. By these three states, inner peace, inner peace to that incident, tolerance to that person or those people, and appreciation, gratitude to the lessons that you have learned from it. Okay, so just remember your achievements is granted by others, and your undesired realities is from you, comes from you. All right, so that is all for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for your presence, for your patience, for your quality times, and for this journey, the journey that helped you to understand yourselves, create so that you can create your fulfilling life. Since we understand that everything comes from us and we take the ownership of everything, of our realities, so we have the right, we have the power to change our life because we take the ownership. And now we have the method, we have the formula, we have the way to do that. So I'm so grateful for the knowledge that I have learned from the wise men. I'm grateful for the dedication of those of my teachers, my master, my guru, who have shared this beautiful knowledge to me and have led me through this meaningful path. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. And today is Friday, right? So see you all on Monday, and happy weekends. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. Bye.